Matt Rhule is locked up at Nebraska. We can move on. The Friday mailbag is here.
You are Locked On Nebraska, your daily Nebraska Cornhuskers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and thanks for making Locked On Nebraska your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And this episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned for later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved.
All right, welcome. It's Friday and it's Halloween. It's Halloween as well. Mitch is eating candy and he'll be sure. Oh, I love Skittles. Number one Halloween candy as we get out of the way early.
Quick, give us all your Halloween candy favorites.
This is a sports talk radio show after all. So
you don't actually have to do that.
Candy corn dead last. All right. Welcome everybody. Connor Hamperman Sherman with you on this Friday, Halloween, blackout. Everything's going to be painted black on Saturday night, and you all have questions in the mailbag.
Right about your prediction.
I was a prediction that I got right, and that's one of like the first ones ever. And then we should also mention that officially Matt Rhule did docu-sign his contract extension.
That
will.
He just kept hitting it over and over and over. He said,
"Click." We've all been there before, and Matt Rhule does it to make millions more dollars.
We have not all been there before, where you're signing for $79.5 million.
Correct.
Plus
not that much. Not that much. Usually, it's me giving money away to people, but
right. Funny how that works.
All right, so got that behind us. Like Mitch
I don't think I would docu-sign that. I think I would take the printed copy to wherever it needed to be and hand it to the boss.
Yeah, there would have been some fanfare, get him a nice pen, sit at a big table that he's the only person sitting at, and sign it from there. But we're going to go with the DocuSign. It gets the job done either way. All right, questions from you all here on this Friday. Appreciate you listening, as always, and thanks for getting in touch with the show. Here's Dustin in Flippin, Arkansas. That's a real town. Flippin, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. He said, I just listened to Pat McAfee in his interview with Governor Jim Landry of Louisiana regarding his press conference on Wednesday that created a tsunami across college athletics. Oh, you mean the one where he said he was going to hire the next football coach? That one at LSU?
Yeah, he said the AD was not going to hire the next football coach at LSU, and he'd rather have the president pick the football coach, which I'm sure would go great.
Yeah. And indeed, Jim was not lying because the current AD is now the former AD at LSU. He has been relieved of his duties as of Thursday
Scott.
evening. So Dustin's question is this. It was interesting to hear the governor confirm that in the end that state taxpayers are on the hook for coaches' contracts and their guarantees. What are your thoughts on putting some guardrails on contracts? ADs, coaches, and players have the same agents. Coaches get early extensions. How do we get out of this mess?
We don't, Dustin. It's here. And unless states want to start passing laws to limit the amounts that to limit the leverage and the amounts of money that the coaches in those states can earn. And I can assure you that states like Louisiana and Nebraska will not be doing that anytime soon. So we're here, and this is the world that we live in. And in Nebraska, there has never been an instance where the state taxpayers have paid anything, let alone for the coaches to be bought out. I don't know the language that was in Brian Kelly's contract, but Governor Landry does, and that's what he said. So I would advise the folks in Louisiana not to allow that to be a provision in the contract of the next coach.
Yeah, important to note that is different than it is at Nebraska. But I think you're right in the idea that we have gone way too far in the buyouts and the dead money that's floating around the sport, and it's going to be a very difficult thing to reverse. That's for sure. Here is Justin in the Gummy Bears. We're on the Gummy Bears now.
The Haribo Gummy Bears. They're outstanding.
Justin in Lincoln, how do you rank Nebraska's Final Four opponents? Can a 2-2 November be considered successful?
Well, I would rank them and say that the opponent that Nebraska is playing tomorrow night is the best left on the schedule.
Yeah.
And the other opponent that comes to Memorial Stadium on Black Friday is the second best left on the schedule.
Yep.
Then you would flip a coin between Penn State and UCLA. They played, so you could say UCLA is better than Penn State. Both of those are road games. It would work out better for Nebraska if UCLA and Penn State were coming to Lincoln and the Huskers had to go to SC and Iowa City. That would almost ensure 2 losses, but you'd probably have a better chance at going 2-2. I think if Nebraska goes 2-2, Justin, in November and has an 8-win regular season, that is considered a success.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's what both you and I, Mitch, picked before the season. And so unless you went higher, did you go win higher?
No, I said 8-2,
okay.
8-4, 8-4.
Same here. So, I think that would be a totally fine end, to a step up season for Nebraska. I would agree with your ranking as well. Here is JT in Monument, Colorado. Anytime or any idea the last time Nebraska played on NBC? Oh, yes, of course I do, because I track these things in my head. While I love and miss Gus Johnson, looking forward to some new vibes. Oh, yes, you've contacted the right people.
Yeah, it was a Colorado game last year
when
Nebraska last played on NBC. Maybe you could answer the third part of this answer. Maybe you can handle the third part of this answer. So that Colorado game, we didn't get the A team because they were like in South America or something like that. We got the B team, which was Paul Burmeister and Colt McCoy. We're getting the A team on Saturday night. Noah Eagle, Todd Blackledge, Catherine Tappan. That same crew had Nebraska in 2023 at Wisconsin, which was an overtime loss. First game on NBC in many years. I tried to research this on Thursday. I could not find the previous game prior to 2023 that was on NBC. I'm sure it was a bowl game, but I suspect it was a bowl game.
How about the Notre Dame game on the road in 2000? Probably yes. That.
Yeah. That was definitely on NBC. Yeah, that was on NBC. I don't know if that was the most recent one. If Nebraska played a game on NBC between 2000 and 2023, maybe in a random bowl game under like a Cotton Bowl or something like that might have been.
I don't know.
Most of them are on the ESPN family of networks, but
yeah, it's good to note though what you said about the broadcast crews. Nebraska also had a game on Peacock in 23, the Maryland game that year, and they've avoided that fate. Everybody has, I guess, this year. There's only been 1 or 2, I think, Peacock games overall with the schedule and how it's drawn for the Big Ten. So yeah, this will feel big. NBC does an awesome job of making it feel big. They're back into the NBA game, Sunday Night Football. You know what it looks like. You know what it feels like, and they go all out. So I love what NBC's brought to the league. I said on my show the other day, Mitch. I think that the Big Ten should make this the primary game. I think they should make this the foremost game of the weekend. But Fox and the Big Ten.
Fox has other ideas.
Yep. Yep, so that ain't happening. But NBC's brought a lot to the league, in my opinion. Here's Michael in Leroy, Michigan. Leroy, I apologize. The number of coaches getting fired from powerful programs is incredibly high this year, and I blame Curt Cignetti. If he could turn Indiana into a playoff team in 1 year, every program with better resources feels like they should be able to do that too. Is this fair? Also, does the existence of so many better job openings lead Wisconsin to keep Luke Fickell perhaps for another year, even though it seems obvious that it's not going well? Good observation.
Yeah, it seems obvious.
Yeah. It ain't going well.
Yeah, you can blame Cignetti. I think everybody is looking at Cignetti with like a look of bewilderment. How is he doing that? Especially coaches who are struggling to win one-score games and build their programs one step at a time.
I think Cignetti ruined it for everybody. I mean, people are impatient these days. There's also the college football universe that we live in right now. I mean, you can't afford to not be good, especially if you're pouring all that money into the program. And so, the Penn State one is a little bit different. This was going to be a do or die year for Franklin, no matter what. And once that college football playoff thing was out the window, they just pulled the plug. So when you think about it that way, it's really not that surprising. The LSU one has totally gone off the rails, and that is it's part LSU and it's part, the world that we live in.
As for Wisconsin, I do think that it's possible the Badgers just choose to stay out of the market this year in the hopes that next year, because of the craziness in this cycle, is a little bit of a down year and they have a prime seat at the table. It's hard to have a lot of confidence in that strategy or the strategy that anything the Wisconsin administration is doing right now.
Yep. All right. Let's take our first time out here, and we have many more questions from you all coming back after this.
Got a word for you right now from Mazda. This is Mazda's Moving the Game Forward segment, brought to you by those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible. They remind us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, keep the game moving forward. I want to talk about a difference maker for Nebraska this year, and that is Emmett Johnson, the running back, a workhorse for Nebraska. He's shown that no matter the circumstances, he's set to keep moving forward. Number 2 in the Big Ten in rushing as of right now. Contributions like that keeps fans and players alike moving forward, always chasing the next great moment. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Welcome back. Friday episode of the Locked On Nebraska podcast. Some big events in addition to the Nebraska USC football game that are taking place this week. Tonight, Halloween night, in Madison, Wisconsin, the number 1 ranked Nebraska volleyball team faces maybe its toughest test that remains until the NCAA tournament at number 11, Wisconsin. The Badgers will pack their place, not going to let a lot of Nebraska fans into that arena up there. So a true road environment for the Huskers. And we'll see if they can keep their winning streak alive, let alone their streak of 34 consecutive sets won. Nebraska has been completely dominant in the Big Ten and starting 10-0. I have a story out Thursday on The Athletic about Mania Obeche, who is one of the young Nebraska players leading the charge off the bench. Go read about her and her interesting story, fascinating story on how she got to Nebraska when she could have gone to Harvard, Stanford, Northwestern. Her choice of schools, she is, by the description of her family and her teammates and coaches, brilliant. And she may be running the Nebraska athletic department someday. So get to know who she is while she's out there on the court. We go to Brendan in Plainview, Nebraska. Do you think that there will be some teams that will experience the decades of doom that Nebraska has after firing a 9 or 10 win per year coach?
Yeah, I mean, you're not destined for that. But you're, what do they say? You're only as good as your next hire. And that is certainly the case. And like we said earlier, this carousel, it's not like there's a whole bunch of big names out there. I mean, Penn State and LSU are going to be taking swings at guys who are currently employed by Power 5 programs and are viewed as really, really good coaches. And there's no guarantee that works either. So it doesn't destine you for that. Nebraska, made their own bed and then undid it and then made it again like 4 different times over the last several years. But stability is important. I will admit
firing a 9 and 10 win coach, which Nebraska did twice. That's not what led the Huskers to decades of doom. It was dysfunction and poor decisions throughout multiple levels of leadership that led that to happen. So Penn State and LSU have advantages geographically with their recruiting base and in other ways that Nebraska just didn't enjoy over the last 25 years. So I don't think that specifically the firings of those coaches are going to lead to a downfall of those programs. Now, if you look at what's going on at Wisconsin, they're following the roadmap that Nebraska laid out some 20 years ago.
Right.
Let's go to Scott. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
right.
here we go. Scott in Windsor, Ontario. Happy pizza night. What does that mean?
I don't know. It's Canadian. It must be Canadian Halloween or something like that.
All right.
What they do? Is that what they do in Canada? Is they just eat pizza on Halloween?
Pizza night. Go Blue Jays. Scott, congratulations if you're a Blue Jays fan. When you said there was a 6'7" mannequin at the press conference dressed in all black, I wonder if David Huffkin had finally found a starring role on this team. What are you most excited for? November football, primetime on NBC, all black uniforms, chance to take down a ranked opponent, or the fact that it's a college football playoff eliminator game. All those things are pretty exciting.
This would be David Huffkin's second Halloween in the United States. Do you think he just goes as David Huffkin for Halloween?
Yeah.
He just, like, walks out on the street and everyone's like, oh my God. Get that.
He's a monster. Why is he so large? What's going on? Probably. He could definitely pull that off. I'm excited to see what it looks like on Saturday night. I don't think that's the thing that I'm most excited for, but this will be a really cool visual and a super unique one. So yeah, I think that will be the first thing.
And the CFP elimination game. I think that's just kind of cool. I realize that neither of these teams is likely to be in the college football playoff, but the fact that they're both still alive and they're playing a game in Nebraska in November is exciting for me.
100%. Here is Brett in Windsor. Go Blue Jays. Is the problem with Nebraska's run defense and the big plays a schematic issue, personnel, or something else?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's all of those things. There aren't a whole lot of other things that it could be. It's either like how you're playing defense or who's playing defense. And I mean, it's different each time the Huskers have had an explosive produced against them. The Northwestern long run that happened on last Saturday was just a ridiculous mess of no one sealing the edge and leaving. Oh, look what's over here. I can run 60 yards around the corner. And then we've seen it different with Michigan. So it's not one thing. It's both of those things. It's scheme and it's personnel.
Yeah, I think, personnel is where you start. Just when you look at the defensive line, it's young and smaller, and it's I kind of thought that before the year. I thought that they would get beat by some explosive runs. I thought that they would probably make it up a little bit more in the explosive plays, splash plays category on defense, more turnovers, sacks, stuff like that. That hasn't happened. That's been an issue. But yeah, it's definitely all three of them, and sometimes all three of them at once.
I'm not saying the scheme's bad. I'm saying it's the ability to always execute it properly.
Yep.
Okay, Gigi in Las Cruces, writing to us for the Las Cruces for Nebraskans chapter.
Nice.
Good to hear from all of you. Last week on Sports Nightly, during the AD show with Troy Dannon, he discussed revenue sharing and that 1890 and NIL deals, as they used to be, are no longer relevant. Our question: with revenue sharing and the $20.5 million athletic department cap, what is the role of 1890 making out NIL deals, and how can the football program achieve a $30 to $40 million roster and still make it compliant with that cap? Great show as always. Waving back.
Well, that's what the AD kind of has to say. I think, there's a lot of stuff. We're going back to the days where a lot of this stuff is under the table, even though it's more out in public now. And the NIL deals, even though they're supposed to be stopped at over $600 or at least reviewed at over $600, they're not,
it's not working.
It's not a steel wall. There's a lot of them that are getting through there. So yeah, that's how you get to that number.
You get to the cap by having NIL deals and being creative in the way that you do them. And you're seeing an evolution of NIL deals where now players are repping like Adidas and other like legitimate like pro sports kind of endorsements. And I think what Dannon meant is that the way that NIL deals with the collective worked when name, image, and likeness came into effect. That's all different now, and they've had to change. But 1890 is still there helping broker these deals. It just has to be done in a different way, and Nebraska has to make sure that it stays up, and it stays on the front end of this, and that's how they can get over the cap, over the athletic department cap. So it's going to have to come through the traditional NIL deals, but just in maybe non-traditional ways.
Two or three more before we take a break here. Here's Michael in Mexico City. Hello, Mexico.
He's already on the map. He said he was already pinned.
Okay, good. Has the team been practicing in black uniforms, or will this be the first time when they hit the field for the game?
I don't believe they have. But the defense practices in black every day.
Yeah.
And some of them wear yellow, and some of them wear green, and some of them wear purple. That's okay. They don't look at the jersey colors and get confused.
First time for everything. Brian in Omaha, who is the best player who's from the state of Nebraska, who's currently playing college football, not at Nebraska?
So I got to see Ben Bramer, the tight end from Iowa State, last week while I was on a quick journey over to Ames. And I was very impressed. I was impressed with him before I went to the game at Iowa State, was impressed with him during the game. I think he's an NFL player. I think he ranks right up there. You can look at Devin Jackson, who's a linebacker at Oregon and a multi-year starting linebacker at Oregon. Doesn't have huge stats this season, but somebody to watch for sure who's made big plays. One of the fastest guys on that Oregon team, which is saying something, especially when you're a linebacker. He's the Omaha Burke graduate. And then somebody that I would just shine a light on, who is not maybe the best player outside from Nebraska playing outside of the state of Nebraska. Have you seen what Cole Payton is doing right now?
He would have been my answer to this question. Yes, he is quarterbacking the number one team in FCS, and doing it well, and doing it in very similar ways to what he was doing at Westside a handful of years ago. So that would have been my answer to this question, for the record.
He threw for something like 300 yards and ran for 100 plus in the number 1 versus number 2 FCS game, North Dakota State over South Dakota State last week. So he's having a great senior season and probably making himself a good candidate to be in an NFL training camp next summer.
Yeah. Yeah. The last, if you would ask this question 9 months ago, it would have been Xavier Watts from Notre Dame.
One of the best rookies in the NFL, if not the best rookie in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
Also from Omaha Burke. Funny how all these great players come out of Omaha Burke.
A lot of them played for Paul Amanji and Burke, and then Westside. Okay, should we do one more before we take a break here?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Jim in Shenandoah Valley, Virginia. What are the chances of Penn State going down the path to mediocrity traveled by Wisconsin and Nebraska because of the fans' entitled expectations kneecapping a program?
Yeah, we probably should have consolidated this with the previous question about this topic. I don't think Penn State is a strong candidate for that to happen. If Penn State was able to survive and come back from the things that have happened there at that school, then they can get through a coaching change.
Yeah, it's there's just a few programs that are like that have won in a variety of different ways. Now, Penn State is a little bit different because most of its success has come under one coach, but their access to talent and it's the biggest show on the East Coast. We're in the Northeast anyway. They're just going to have the ability to be good always. But yes, you do still have to get the hire right.
Okay, break time. We'll be back with more of your questions. Got a message for you from DoorDash. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and again recognize an MVP who delivered this week, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For Nebraska, Kenneth Williams delivered in a big way last week with a 95-yard kickoff return. When the pressure was on, he came through. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, this was not a fluke. Williams is on a streak. And just like Kenneth Williams delivered for Nebraska, DoorDash delivers for you on Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th.
And a word from the FanDuel Sportsbook. The NFL season is rolling on. FanDuel is making sure you are ready to go with a can't-miss offer right now. New customers can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It's not just NFL either. Let's say you'd like to make a wager on, Nebraska winning the game on Saturday, and maybe Kenneth Williams from his kickoff returns to his touchdowns is going to be a big part of that on Saturday. You can take advantage of that hunch with FanDuel. Place that first $5 bet, you win, and you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little bit more energy to your football weekends. Download the FanDuel app today. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel.com and place that first $5 bet right now. All right, welcome back. Connor Hamper, Mitch Sherman with you here on a Friday mailbag edition. As I go back and find the questions, let's go to Vincent Napa, our dear friend Vince. Nebraska's win on October 25th moved the Huskers to 3-0 on the date that our children were born. Well, congratulations. How about that? The others came in 08 and in 14. So maybe we'll see when that gets put to the test again. But the question is this: would Nebraska's record be north or south of 4-4 right now if you take Mike Eckler out of the equation, or would they be exactly 4-4?
I think they'd be 4-4.
I think they'd be 4-4. I agree.
He's done good work.
It's been worth.
He's got him 2 wins. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Here is Joel in Omaha. Happy Halloween. I've been following and watching Trey Taylor's efforts to help recruit future classes. And after you had mentioned that he's going to play his playoff game in Chicago and then get to Lincoln for the USC game, I was wondering if other players before him had done something similar to this level.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure players have hurried up and made it to Nebraska for visits after they played in playoff games, maybe even on Saturdays, but probably not from places like Chicago. So still don't know exactly how Trey is doing that. Somebody had to help him, I would imagine, with whatever is allowed under the rules. So if you see a private jet going over, like during warm-ups and landing at the Lincoln Municipal Airport, it might be Trey Taylor aboard. He's going above and beyond.
He is going way above and beyond. Yeah, no doubt about it. I can't recall too many who have been this public about them being all about the Big Red. Here is Patrick. Could this game give us flashbacks to 2014 Miami? Could Emmett Johnson will this team to a win like Amir Abdullah did that night?
Yeah, there's some 2014 Miami vibes, I think, with this game. Emmett's not quite Amir, who's still playing in the NFL. Very, very good back, Emmett Johnson is, and I'll eat my words. A decade plus down the road, if he's running for big yards or scoring touchdowns in the NFL, like I mean, Amir was another level of special, and he was in that mode against Miami in 2014. So, but as far as the game, yeah, I think just like the energy and the juice in the stadium, it'll be on that level, if not higher, because of the nighttime environment.
I wonder if they'll get out the banners in the student section. Welcome to your worst nightmare again.
That was from that game, wasn't it?
That was it's a great photo. And
very possible. It's very possible that something like that will appear.
Yeah, indeed. Here we go. Let's go to Rusty in Tucson. Throwing the bones for Keona Davis, the home of Keona Davis. Okay, nice. Trick or treat. Will we see a trick play on Saturday night? And if so, who will run it, Nebraska or USC?
Well, it's interesting because both of the play callers are cut from the cloth of the late, great Mike Leach. And Dana Holgerson and Lincoln Riley have crossed paths many times. They've been on the same sideline. They've been on opposing sidelines. And for as open and innovative as these coaches are, I think they have a lot of trust in their systems. And these are not the two who generally rely on trick plays in the way that many play callers around the sport do. So I'm going to say no. We do not see a trick play like a flea flicker or something like that.
I would say if you're going to see something in the trick play category, it would be in the special teams part of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska did a fake punt or a fake field goal or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that. It didn't specify offense here from Rusty, but yeah, I like your prediction. Okay, we'll go with it.
Here's Matthew in Pierre, South Dakota. Thanks for producing a high quality podcast on a daily basis. Thank you, Matthew, for listening. Love the show. Every time I watch USC play, I get their fight song stuck in my head because they seem to play the fanfare every other play. Dun, 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 dun. It's simultaneously catchy and annoying, though not nearly as bad as Boomer Sooner, which is possibly the most annoying song in all of college football. But it got me thinking, what's the most iconic fight song in college sports? Got to be either Notre Dame's or Michigan's, right? It's hard to not have a personal connection to a fight song, but which ones are objectively great? As a band alumnus, I enjoy Wyoming and Indiana's with a soft spot for Rocky Top. Great question.
Yeah, he kind of answered the question. I think he asked the question and you answered the question, Matthew. I'm probably taking Hail to the Victors. It's all over the place. I mean, you can't go to a high school game without hearing Michigan's fight song.
Yeah.
That's
so what was your high school's fight song modeled after?
Minnesota.
Yeah. Ours was Northwestern.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The Central Eagles. Northwestern.
Yeah, that's Northwestern. Yeah.
Big Ten, a heavy Big Ten presence among Metro Conference fight songs. Yeah, Burke still is the Minnesota fight song.
Here's James. Question for Mitch. During the coaches' press conferences, I noticed that the reporters are usually sitting in the same spots. Is it assigned seating? This is a great question. Or is it first come, first served, or everybody has their favorite spot? Also, why are the reporters absolutely hammering their laptops when they're typing? Click, 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 LOL, says James.
I don't know. It could be like the placement of a microphone or something like that.
They flip the mic around so they hear the crowd when somebody's asking the question, and so you just hear everybody typing at the same time. It's funny. It's really funny.
Hey James, on Saturday night after the game, I'll try to type extra loud so you can hear my keyboard. They are not assigned seats, but you might think so when you go in there.
Yep, you just go to where you go. Same old.
A lot of people sit. A lot of people are creatures of habit. The media folks who come into the press conference room. Yeah, it was like last year during the season. I had my seat that wasn't really my seat, but it was the place that I sat, and somebody started sitting in it.
Unbelievable.
Not going to call anybody out, but just middle of the season, you're just going to sit in my seat, and that's kind of how it went. So I kind of move around. I kind of wander a bit. I'll sit in that seat sometimes if I get there early, and then other times I'll just maybe try to go to the back of the room if I'm not going to be asking a lot of questions that day because of what I'm working on or not working on. It depends. I move around more than many of the regulars there.
I do love it is. You're right. It's just we're all creatures of habit. And so yes, you end up in the same spot, and there's sort of like a cadence and a rhythm to who asks the questions when and all that stuff. It's really funny. Here is Austin in Creighton, Nebraska. He says, I'm 35. I grew up watching the tunnel walk, and I got jacked and excited. But last Saturday I was at the game, and it just didn't feel like a big thing. Would they ever think about changing it to get it back to being exciting? Mitch, I know you have thoughts on the tunnel walk. Also, Austin mentioned that he liked the appearance from Timmy Trumpet last weekend. Did you see Timmy? He was playing the trumpet before the game.
Saw that. It was the real Timmy Trumpet.
Yes, yeah. That's him. That's the guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to go on a big rant about the tunnel walk. I think my feelings are known that I would like to see the music changed. I would like to see things scrapped to make it more exciting. As you observed, it's not that exciting, Austin. It'll be exciting on Saturday night because Saturday night's going to be like few nights that we get at the stadium. We haven't really talked. We talked about it some Thursday on the show. What the news from Thursday about Matt Rhule's contract extension might do for the environment. And I think that Nebraska rolled this thing out well, and you got Rhule out on the Pat McAfee show talking about coming back and his love for Nebraska and telling stories about his kids. I love the story about his daughter when he told it must have been his youngest daughter that that he was going to sign a new contract with Nebraska, and she said, "Okay, can we go to volleyball Sunday?"
He's like, whatever. Can I get my volleyball tickets? Jeez.
It's going to add something for sure. I think the tunnel walk will be just fine, but normally it needs an overhaul. And I just like to see the music changed and somehow like shorten it up so you don't show them they don't need to be shown like for 4 minutes walking out of the tunnel, because that's what it seems like sometimes.
Yeah, the game will dictate how exciting the tunnel walk is, and that game on Saturday lacked a little bit of juice, so I imagine it'll be better this Saturday. And one final question from Justin. We got through them all today. Good job. You guys are both baseball guys, so which is a bigger accomplishment? 3 home runs in a game or getting on base 7 times in one game? I assume we're thinking about Ohtani, who actually got on base 9 times.
We got walked 5 times.
He says, I think this Ohtani guy is pretty good. It seems like he's on path to being the greatest baseball player in the history of the sport. We should recruit him to play football for us. And if we did, what position would he play? 6'3", 210. Is he a wide receiver? Maybe he runs a 4.4 40. What are we doing with Ohtani on the football field first?
I thought he was bigger than that. I had to look that up to see if that's accurate. 6'3", 210. Like, he would look like just a regular wide receiver walking around on a football field. He would be he's small on the basketball court. And he looks huge when he's out there playing baseball. I'm shocked by that he's 6'3", 210. I've seen him in person at Kauffman Stadium. I did this summer. I thought the guy was like 6'6", 245. But that's only Aaron Judge.
I think
he's bigger than that, don't you think?
He's got to be taller than 6'3" would be my guess. But I mean, doesn't it seem obvious that we should probably just put him at quarterback?
He can throw the ball, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he can get out on the edge. He can get out on the edge and run. You can see Shohei running the option. How about that?
Shohei the quarterback. I mean, that sounds amazing.
He could do it. He could do it.
And then Justin also says, if you're paid to play baseball, does that make you ineligible to play college football? It does not.
He could do that. He could play college football. We should start that campaign. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani, college football.
Shohei Ohtani retires from baseball. Baseball career flames out, and he ends up being quarterback at Nebraska.
I mean, he'd probably play for the team that's coming into Lincoln this weekend if he played for anyone.
No. Could you imagine the Shohei Ohtani football recruiting cycle? I mean, that would be incredible. It was already insane when he was trying to decide where he was going to go in free agency 2 years ago. Could you imagine the college football world?
31-year-old Shohei Ohtani is taking an official visit to Oregon this weekend, where there will be 17,000 fans outside of his hotel room.
Oh my God. It would be incredible. It would be bonkers. We should do that just for fun. Thank you, Ohtani, in advance for quitting baseball and playing college football in the Big Ten somewhere. Yeah. It's appreciated. All right. That's it for us.
Save that one for last.
What a week. And we'll be back with you for a reaction pod this weekend. Then, of course, full week of shows on Monday. Thanks for making Locked On Nebraska your first listen today. For your second listen, you can check out Locked On Big Ten. Maybe they'll have some takes on which Big Ten team Shohei Ohtani would play quarterback for. You can find him on Locked On Big Ten on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.